There's a lot of old people though that are stuck in the ways.
What do you mean by that?
Racist.
Personally, I like to think of myself as colourblind.
They're coming into this country, they're working, they're paying into our economy, they're a lot of asset to our country. So I don't know why, they should encourage it, but encourage it in the legal way.
Immigration is going up. And given they keep promising to cut it, the government aren't particularly happy about it. Immigration is a bit of a sticky issue for this government. On the one hand, they need people to fill all the vacancies in sectors like hospitality and healthcare. And on the other, they need someone to blame. It's a lot easier to blame pesky brown people than it is to accept any sort of responsibility for the mess the country's in. Right-wing politicians like to tell us that Britain's culture is being eroded by immigration. It's an effort to frighten people who might not have come across much of it. People who live in places like Workington, in Cumbria, the whitest place in the country. Workington is the least diverse parliamentary constituency. 98.5% of people here identify as white British. And while it is really, really white right now, that's pretty likely to change. Cumbria is becoming more diverse really quickly, with the non-white population projected to be 10% by 2031. So that means things around here might look a wee bit different. Places like Workington are changing, and I want to see if people here are worried about it. That's why I'm in Workington to ask. How do you feel about immigration at the moment?
But I understand people want a better life, and to come into Britain is a better life, I suppose, for them. But as long as they're prepared to work, if they're prepared to work and earn their living and, pay into our taxes and that, bring them on.
I do think it's out of control. I think the Conservative government have said that they would cut down on it, but the numbers are just going up and up and up. So, yeah, I'd like to see more control.
What would that entail, do you think?
I don't really want to go into details, but it's a bit of an emotive subject, isn't it? So, no, I'd rather not give too many details on that. Thank you.
I mean, to be fair, it's definitely been noticeable over the past couple of years that, it's more diverse. There's a lot of old people, though, that are stuck in the ways.
Yeah.
I like to think of myself as colourblind. And when I say that, I mean I don't care. And also I have to caveat that by saying when I don't care, I mean it doesn't matter to me. It matters not.
You say stuck in their ways. What do you mean by that?
Racist.
There's a lot of very racist
yeah.
old people here, and it's like they're very much like, back in my day, but obviously they've been here while things have changed, and they just haven't adapted to it.
But if it wasn't for them people coming from abroad, we wouldn't have, because the wages are poor. The nurses through COVID and that, they worked tirelessly, and the doctors as well, and they should be paid for now. Whatever they want, they should get, because if they come out on strike, there'll be like full time. You know what I mean? There'll be no NHS, and people would die. Yeah. I had a kidney transplant 26 years ago, and if it wasn't for the National Health, then I wouldn't be here now.
Yeah. Hospitality is a massive driver of immigration to the country because we need a lot of people from abroad to fill the roles in hospitality. Can you talk about the importance of immigration to hospitality?
It's a very, very sensitive subject. I've found that with a lot of people. A good example for me would be, someone who's willing and hard-working. I mean, there was the running gag of people, from, what was it? Eastern European, more than anything. I've had one of the most loveliest individuals I've worked with was Eastern European. She was very small, but she was an absolute machine. She just kept going and going and going. But also from a personal level, she was lovely. Whereas, great, lovely. Whereas on the flip side, more or less, I'd say down south, you've had it where some of these places have been giving government grants and they've allowed, replacing existing staff there, or just filling them in, and then they're being ran into the ground essentially. I get that there may be a language barrier, but that falls on both sides of things. If you're willing to work and willing to work hard, but then again also, if you're going to employ people like that, you should be willing to sit down and say, are you struggling a bit? Are you struggling with your English? We've got college courses, we've got level 2 Masters in English, which is compulsory for a lot of job roles, and make a bit more care. So it works on both fronts, I feel. So
are you concerned about kind of the potential for people to be exploited in the industry?
When it comes to foreign immigration, yes, I am on that one, because like myself, so I've got a lot of ideas, but also, after working in a trade like that for so long, you do get the people on the side of the fence that go, oh yeah, great, the hard workers, get them in and let's load them with 50 hours a week, 60 hours a week. They're not going to say anything, they need the money. And that is disgraceful behaviour.
At one time, a local saying, greeting at Carlisle and over here, was cuz. Because most people weren't as close as related as sixth cousin. It was that close, a community.
So there should be more diversity in the community, probably.
They're just going back about 100 years.
Okay. Do you think they're frightened of something? Do you think they're frightened of change?
I do think there's a lot of like stigma around sort of people coming from different places, and I think that's obviously like just what they were brought up to believe, so they're trying to pass that down. But I do think it's definitely more the older generation that they do have that kind of figure, but unnecessary figure, I guess.
Well, I'm not against it, but I am against religion ruling authorities. As has been a case in America where the police arrested a couple of women, right, and took pictures of them with the headgear off. And they're being sued for compensation. Religion, they say the headgear is a religious costume. That's why I'm against religion. Religion is dictating to the people too much.
Do you think that's the case in the UK?
Yes, because of these demonstrations about the Israeli war in Gaza. Right. Before, oh God, there were no such thing as demonstrations. There hasn't been the big demonstrations against the Ukraine war either.
Sick of repeating myself, but they're coming into this country, they're working, they're paying into our economy, they're a lot of asset to our country. So I don't know why, they should encourage you, but encourage it in the legal way. Yeah. You know what I mean? I feel sorry for these people coming over on the boats and that because it's dangerous. But if they go through the right protocol and the right ways, they may be getting a lot easier.
The problem is they've shut all the legal ways to do it, so they don't have an option, those people.
No, well, true.
But when it does comes to politics, I feel it is very much a box-ticking exercise. They're trying to say the right thing instead of looking at the bigger problems.
What are those problems?
So, personally, your veteran situation will be one of them. DEI. You're within media, you know what DEI is. Anything like that. I had a big disagreement with the NHS on a personal level, which was it was the diversity hires and whatnot, and it was more there weren't diversity hires, there were diversity officers ensuring, whereas you've got nurses standing out there on picket lines. I had a bike accident a few years ago. I've been in almost the equivalent of an ICU where these poor lasses and doctors and whatnot have been running around, and you want to pay a large sum of money to people to say, oh yes, you're great for the job because, like I've just said, that's my disagreement, because if you're of this race, you're of this creed. Whereas you could say, well, I'll tell you what, we've got hard-working individuals, let's help them out. It's forever, it's the same with the rails and everything, they're forever on strike. So instead of doing this, why not give people to, the people who are working? And I just feel it's become a lot that way of, same with media, same with, films especially, Disney at the moment. You've forgotten what made you great. People don't want to be beaten over the head. They want nice things, they want stories. We all work, everyone in the same boat, we all work hard enough and long enough to have that bit of enjoyment. And sometimes things don't need a message, sometimes it just needs to be fun. The joys of being a child.
How would you describe Workington?
Small. Small, quiet, a lot of small town syndrome, everybody knows everybody. Yeah.
Is that a good thing or a bad thing?
It depends who you ask.
I'm asking you. So
I'd say it's a bad thing, yeah.
What would you like to see change, do you think?
Just more stuff to do, especially for kids and teenagers and stuff. There's nothing for them around here.
Well, I find it all right as a town. I was brought up on the east side of the county, up at a place called Ulston, and that hasn't half gone down.
Really?
Yeah.
Why is that?
Half the population, the main industry's gone. Like here, a lot of industry's gone here since I come over in 76.
So did you grow up around here?
Yes.
And what did you do when you were a teenager?
How legal is this? No, we just loitered a lot, really. There used to be a couple of youth clubs when I was growing up, but they didn't last very long because there was just nothing to do at them, really.
I think the government understands kind of the scale of this issue.
No, they don't. In fact, I wrote a good few years ago about Northern Rock Bank, had shares in it. I wrote 6 pages claiming it was stolen under the grounds of the Magna Carta and Bill of Rights. And it states in that bill, no freeborn man shall be seized, detained in prison, goods taken away from or maligned without being tried by his peers or law of the land. No freeborn man shall be delayed or denied justice, which has happened with Northern Rock. Right? I've proved my ancestry back to where I could prove that I am a descendant of a freeborn man, and I quoted that. I got one reply back. Doesn't concern me, not interested.
Guys, think you'll stay in Workington?
I don't want to long term, but I mean, I've got a child that's in school, and like, so it all really falls down to her what she wants to do when she gets older. But I don't want to.
Yeah. What about you?
I would love to go to somewhere different where there's more things to do. Like, I kind of would like to move to a city, but also when you're in a city for a, like, I've got small town syndrome. Like when we were in Glasgow, like it's just so different. Like I couldn't handle it. I was like, I just want to be back home.